Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a large circle. Make sure you're doing the air drawing first, where you're using the side of your palm. You feel like you have that circle, then you commit. Then we're going to do a smaller circle about right here, and relatively maybe a little higher than this one, but not too noticeably. Okay, so now we're going to be moving really fast here, so just try to follow along. We have our two circles. This larger circle is going to represent this part of the body. Smaller circle is going to represent this part of the body. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with this little hump here, this bump in the back. Okay, so we're going to go outside of that circle, and we're going to go down. Okay, so it basically is just drawing kind of like a little mound or something, a little hill. And then we're going to continue this into the top of this circle here. So what you have here is this bump here. It goes down and then comes back up gradually. Now we're going to draw this ear. So this ear in between these two, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. So we're just going to go up, and then we're going to draw that curve as it goes down right around here. So it's almost like a very subtle shark fin. Okay, just, you know, we can get into the detail of this shape more, but right now we're just going to block it in a very simple shape there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and draw this ear. As you can see, this ear kind of overlapping that back ear a little bit, so it comes down about right here. So make your mark there. It's going to go up just like that. Okay, and then it needs to be this ear is a little higher than this one, so let's just make sure that it's higher than that one. And then we're going to bring it down just like this, curving it. Okay, we're going to leave it just like that for now. Once again, you're blocking this drawing in, and we're just going to take our time here. Okay, so now, as you can see, we drew this line here, but then it starts to curve inwardly. So what we're going to do is we're going to curve this inwardly like that. So just put a little curve. Okay, then it cuts in like this. That's that part right here. And then it cuts down like that. Now notice where this tip is. If we were to draw a line straight up, okay, it's coming to about right here. So make sure that that's in the right place. Now what we're going to do is, as you can see, this shape right here is like a V. So we're going to draw the other side of that V, just like that. And then as you can see, it cuts over and then goes up. So we're going to cut over a little bit and then go up. So we just make those two lines. And what you're going to see is we're just drawing a series of lines and shapes and curves. Okay, it's going to be a lot of curves. And speaking of curves, look at this right here. This is going to curve just like that. So let's make that shape. I want you to notice how close it's coming to the top of the head here. Okay, so it's just like that. So it's almost like the letter C. Okay, so we have that part now. And what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the head, the forehead, so it's kind of coming over and then down. So think of like a roller coaster, just kind of curving like that. Now that's all we're going to draw for now. We'll do more in a few, but once again, we try to compare one thing with another thing. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the chin. You see how this back line here cuts behind the ear at this angle? So it's like starting here and then continues there. And then it goes up. So it's like a line, then it goes up. You see that triangle there? Okay, so it's like up and then a triangle and then another line, just like that. So line, up, down, over. Line, up, down, over. And then it just takes a big drop here for the trunk. Okay, so just like this. Now we don't know how far we're gonna go down yet. Just wanna kind of get an idea of the direction. Make sure you're sketching, okay? Just basically scratching along the page. Once again, you know, drawing is where we're taking pen, pencil and just pulling it along the paper. Sketching is where we're scratching it along the paper. And this, we should be sketching. Okay, so the forehead, as you can see, it comes down, but then it kind of goes out a little more. Okay, and then it starts to curve inward because this trunk is getting more narrow. Now we're not going to draw it all the way to the bottom yet. Like I said, we're going to wait. Just take our time. So far we have the two ears, we have the back, we have the head, and part of the trunk here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the front leg. As you can see, it's kind of going down, but it's going down and back a little bit. So this will be straight down, so we're going to go down and back. And one of the things that you want to notice is this negative space here. See, the elephant is what we would call the positive space. We're drawing the elephant. But you got to take note of this negative space back here. You see this shape right here between the trunk, the mouth, and the leg? I'm going to make sure that you have something similar there as well, okay? All right, so this is coming down, and then it bends here. I guess that would be his knee, maybe, or whatever joint that is. So that comes down and back even more. Okay, so far we have all these things in place. We're not going to draw the other part of this leg yet. We're going to come back to that. So what we're going to do now is start here, where we see that this kind of has like a little round curve there. And then on the outside of this circle that we have here, we're going to draw this shape. It kind of bumps out even more. So we're going to bump that out even more. Okay. Now where this circle was, we're going to make this part of the tail. So we're going to draw this curve here. And then we're going to make a little mark here for this part right here. So we're going to make a little mark kind of like this. So like a curve there. And then we're going to go up with that. Okay, so something like that. So it's just like a almost like a wiggly check mark. Okay, once again, try to make association with these shapes. You know, like when I said wiggly check mark, you know, that just helps you to understand that we're just drawing these simple shapes. Okay, so here's the tail here, and then this is going to swoop down. We're drawing this part of his tail, the top side. It just swoops down and out and back. And then from here as well, same thing, getting more narrow to the tip. Okay, so there we have part of his tail. Now this part here in the back, it goes down all the way to the tail. So let's connect that, just like that. And then, as you can see, the leg kind of bows out again. There's another curve, so it's like curve and another curve, okay? So this one is a little more subtle though, but it's still a curve and it's going inward. Okay, now we're going to draw this part here. This is a curve coming from the tail. Kind of like this shape here, just like that. And then right here where this part of the tail stops, if we just come over a little bit, that's where this starts. So from here, we're going to move over, and then that's where this leg starts. Once again, it's like another little curve. Now, if we were to look at from here to here, this distance, and compare it from here to here, this is a little wider. Okay, so you see this right here, we're going to make this one a little wider, but it's still curving just like this. Okay, so we're going to make that curve just like that. And then right here, you see how this curves, and then we have another little curve in here. So it stops kind of right at like where this tail is. So actually how about we bring this up a little more, and then we'll start this curve like that. Okay, now before we draw the rest of the legs, we're gonna draw the rest of his stomach here. So we're gonna start about right here in the leg, and we're gonna make a little curve going up like that. And then we're gonna make this curve right here. And so it goes up, then it goes down. Okay, and then right about here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a slight gradual curve in there. So we're going to draw that. Okay. All right, then there's another little curve right here as well, so we're going to put that in. Now we're going to go to, let's see, how about we go to the front leg here. So as you can see, the thickness here of this leg, we need to, let's see, this is probably like a little bit on the outside of this ear, so we're gonna kind of bring it in about right here. And remember, it's curving back at this joint here, so we'll make that like this. And then I want you to look at the distance here from the leg compared to his body. Okay, his body is a lot more broad, and then so what we're going to do now is we're going to add this shape here, which is basically a forward, like the letter C. And we're going to do like a backwards facing C, and then a straight line. Okay, then we have this part here of his leg that's coming down. You'll see that in the back here, that other leg, his left leg. And we see the heel right there. Okay, now these back legs are coming down a little lower than the front legs here, as you can see. So they're going to probably be somewhere around here. And so what we need to do is draw this. So you see how this cuts in a lot? Okay, so then we're going to cut in and then go down. Cut in, go down. And then we're going to give it this curve here. Now notice right here you have his heel is kind of coming up. So we're going to make that's just a curve. It's like an upside down Nike check. Like the swoosh. So we're going to go just like this. And then it's relatively flat at the bottom. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go do this side of the leg. So this is really coming in, and let's start at the bottom. You see how this base of the foot starts about right here, and then it kind of cuts out, and then goes up. Just like that. Okay, a couple more things here. We're going to draw the tail now. So as you can see, the tail kind of stops here, but then I don't know, the broom part of his tail, whatever that is, just kind of starts about right there, swings out. Okay, so now we need to go to the trunk. As you can see, the trunk is a little higher than the feet are. So it's going to come somewhere around here, but as you can see, it comes down, then it curves in. So we're going to curve ours in, just like that. Okay, now we're going to look at the tusk here. The tusk, this is your mouth here. The tusk is a little bit below. So the first thing we're going to do is draw this little upside down curve there. And then kind of like a little shape back like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw this tusk. It's kind of curving out. And then we're going to draw the bottom part and then kind of taper to a rounded point, not a sharp point. And then we have the other one here. It's like a little, you just see part of it. And we have the eye. If you look at the eye, draw a line across. It comes to about where the ear is, about right here, closer to the front of the head. And so we're just gonna kind of draw a little oval for now, signifying the eye. Okay, so now what we're going to do to try to give this a little bit more form, we're going to add some lines for shadows. Okay, so we're going to start with the ear here. So right up here, we're going to do this little line that's going down, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to go down like this. We're going to curve over like that. And once again, we're not going to get into all the little ridges here. We're just going to simplify it for now. Okay, we're going to do another little curve, like a more longer curve. And then right around the shoulder area, another curve as well. Okay, now to shade this, what we're gonna do is at a 45-degree angle, so this would be like up and down, this would be like vertical, this would be horizontal. At a 45-degree angle, just gonna go back and forth, just shading this in like this. Back and forth, just like that. And what that's doing is it's just giving us a little bit of a hint of shadow there for form. Okay, we're gonna do kind of split this ear here, because you know the shadow is pretty much on half of the ear. Like I said, we'll do all the detail later, but we're gonna put a little bit of shadow here as well in the back here. So using the same stroke, 45-degree angle, back and forth, and put some shadow there. Now we're gonna do this area, put some shadow under here. Okay, same thing, 45-degree angle, back and forth. Now, just so that we get these right, we're gonna draw like a little triangle. This would be like part of the triangle, this is a part, and then it's kind of connecting right to the eye. So we'll do that. And then, from that triangle, you're going to basically just mimic this shape here. So it's kind of coming to the tusk here, and then you see how this line here and the shadow follows that line. So we're just gonna go down, and then right here, all of this is in shadow. So we're gonna just kind of end it like this. And then you have one other little shape here that's connecting to the eye, so let's do that as well. Just kind of make a line and then a little curve there. This is helpful to determine where your shadows are going to be. Okay, so now horizontal lines there. We're just going to follow this all the way down. Horizontal, make sure you're moving your hand so that it's comfortable. Just like that. And we're going to do this area as well. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of shading up here as well. As you can see, he just has a little bit on top of his head. Yeah, see that right there? So same thing. And then a little bit over his eye. And like I said, we'll get into more later, but just trying to get the overall shadows in. Okay, so now going down to his belly, we're gonna draw a little line up right here representing this shadow. And then we're gonna go up like that, make a little line there. And then we're gonna cut over to above the shoulder. And then we're gonna bring this shadow down. So here's your leg, but the shadow should be, part of the shadow's on this side of the leg, part of it's on this side. So this is the leg, so now we're gonna bring this shadow down. And it's gonna contour this leg here. But it stops at the foot. You see how it just comes down and it stops here? So we're gonna do that, put a little stop there. But then there is a little angle of shadow down here, so we're gonna put that right there. Okay, so now we're gonna do our little vertical lines here. I'm sorry, I keep saying vertical, our diagonal lines here on that shadow. Make sure you do it on this side of the leg, but also here as well, underneath. Okay, now if you look at this back leg, only part of the leg is in shadow. So we're gonna draw a little line there so we can know where that is, and then shadow. And then this whole back foot is in shadow. Okay, then under here, that's in shadow, that shape. Right here, we're gonna draw this shape right here. This is like starting from the leg and it kind of cuts over and down. We just don't want to shade that. But then we have this shadow. It's just pretty round, so we're gonna make a little round shape like this, right on his stomach. And then 45-degree angle, we're gonna shade this in as well, up to that bottom curve. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. Now notice though, it is darker here, and it grades out, it's like a gradation, darker and then lighter. So that just helps us to understand the roundness. So make sure that you have that darker, and then it gets lighter. Okay, we're gonna do this, the back part here. This is all in shadow, this part. Part of this tail here, we're gonna just do a little curve going up like that. And then that's gonna be in shadow as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the shape of this shadow here. So it kind of goes up, curves, comes down. As you can see, curves, and it comes down. And it goes in right at that leg. And then it kind of follows the contour of this edge here. And then it just keeps tapering in. And then stops at the foot here. And we're gonna, while we're at it, we're gonna do this one as well. So this one starts about right here. Comes down and then kind of curves right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shade all of this in. So using your diagonal back and forth here, we're only going to fill in these areas for the shadow. Okay, so we got that. And we're going to leave this alone because that's the light is hitting that. And a shade of this area as well. 45-degree strokes there. Now this type of shading is just a way to get some form. This is more just a quick approach. At the bottom of this sole here is dark, that's in shadow, so we're going to do that as well. Okay, this tail is pretty much all dark, so we're just going to shade that in as well. Still using the 45-degree angles. Okay, so what we're going to do now, just do a little bit here on this Tusk as well, just showing that the light's coming from this direction. We're going to add the ground here. So ground is kind of coming at this angle from this leg to this part of his belly here, and it continues, okay, kind of like on the other side of his foot. Something like that. And as you can see, these trees, they kind of start back here and then go up. And then we have this tree that is coming to right here in his back. So now we're going to do this side. And as you can see, the grass starts somewhere around here, hits this trunk around here. So we're just going to basically connect those dots, and then it keeps going past his trunk. So now we have these trees, and actually we'll start with the top here. Okay, just kind of drawing the overall shape. You got this row here, which starts about right here. Okay, just drawing overall shapes, and then you have the grass, just kind of coming up here by his tusk. And then another piece in there. Okay, so now for the trees, we're going to shade these a little differently. So what I want you to do is you're going to put your pencil down, you're going to tip facing upward, then we're going to take our index finger and our thumb and pick it up and use your other fingers to hold it at the bottom. So you're basically holding it like this, and we're going to take the side of the pencil and just kind of do some like scribble marks here, like up and down scribbles, just to kind of hint at what's happening with these trees here. Okay, same for the bushes. Okay, once again, just kind of getting some of the scribble shapes in. I mean, when you look at these, you just see forms, you see shapes of shadows. And right now, what we're just going to do is just put a little bit of texture there. Okay, and these are kind of more shooting upward. Now, I do have videos on how to make this look more like grass. And essentially you do the same thing that we did with the elephant. You would figure out these shapes here, and you would shade those in darker than the other areas. But our main emphasis on this is the elephant, so we just want to give a little bit of context and background. So we're going to come over here to this side and do the same with the tree. Pencil to the side. Just like that. Same here as well. And I just kind of put some filler marks in here to help with the space. So got the grass shooting up this way and out and so forth. Now, he does have some shadows, so I would hold your pencil the way we've been holding it before. And we're going to see that we have a little shadow that's coming from his trunk. His trunk is not hitting the ground, therefore the shadow's not touching the trunk. So we're going to shade that in. And then you have some other shadows over here as well. Shade those in, and some on the back here, the back foot. So I always draw the shape of the shadow first, and then shade the rest in. And you don't have to do this, but the shadow of his tail is kind of, and his leg is kind of coming up there. Okay, so I would look it over. We have the main parts in. What I would do now is start to shade some other areas without drawing the overall shapes. So for example, I see a little bit of shading on his ear, so I'm gonna actually I'll hold it this way. Just using the same vertical, horizontal strokes. You could, this will be our first time erasing, you could erase this now. But as you see, we didn't have to do any real erasing. I mean, this circle is still there. This circle is still there. It's just we drew it so lightly that you don't see it. And that was the intent. Okay, so looking at the head here, there's a little bit more shadow in this area. I'm just gonna fill some of these in here. Making his eyes darker. Getting more of the texture of the elephant here. I would come in now, and this is where you can kind of cut into this, for the ears. Just wherever you cut in, make sure you put that shadow back under there. Make this a little darker. So we have this shadow here, but it fades out a little bit. So we're just gonna put a little bit here as well. So these I'm doing a little wider, a little lighter. Just going a little faster so that you can get some of this, we don't want to spend too much time with it. You just kind of getting more information in here, making it look more realistic, more textured. And if we want, if you wanted to add more texture to these trees, turn your pencil to the side again and just kind of scribble in some of the tones there to make it really set back and make the elephant come forward. I wouldn't do too much to the background because you don't want it to become the focus of your drawing. Sure what that shadow is back there, but we'll just put a little bit of information in here. Doing some of the road here just to make it look like it's flat. So we'll take one more look at it. And what I probably would do is just emphasize some of these things in the foreground. So basically I would make these lines a little darker in for the front of his body, just showing that these legs are closer than the ones in the back. And make these a little more pronounced. Okay, so there we have it. And we have our elephant. And once again, we started off with 2 circles. Okay, 1 circle, 2, connected those, and we started drawing everything in relation to other objects. So that's a simple approach to drawing. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.